to be forgotten.
You think it would be forgotten?
Because there's ego in memory, in the memories. Who designed the sidewalk? Who designed the water fountain? Who designed the stop sign? Who designed the stoplight? These things are so ubiquitous that the person that designed them is forgotten. If it's a good idea, it's a God idea. And no VCs can own it.
Who've literally gone to the moon, right? Those folks would think that this is the end of history. That's it. We're done. Like we've done everything else. I mean, there's people in technology who believe, and I agree with them, that we can go to Mars. That we might even be able to end death, but we can't innovate on something that was 230 years old. You know.
Are there. Like, we have arrived, we know what it is to know, and like, really? Can you try to go back in history and imagine what it was to be at any of these other points, rather than reading that as, oh, aren't we so smart now that we have that to look back on and laugh at those foolish people? It's like, no, we're them too. And there will be people in the future who look back on us. And are you sure you want to be part of the one who's so certain now? You sure? Because if you're that certain, you're probably wrong.
What we have to remind ourselves of, Deep Dive, is that really, art can change the world. Art can show people something they have not seen before.
We have innovation in bits, but not in atoms, right? We can build $1 billion company online, but we need 1 billion permits to build a shed in San Francisco, right? How do you reconcile that? Well, what is stopping the innovation in atoms? It is a thicket of regulations. What are those regulations? Ultimately, a social construction. If you lean into the whole deconstructionist school of thinking, you can deconstruct and then reconstruct the state itself, given sufficient social consensus online. Okay, you're not going to build a self-driving car city in digital space. You're not going to be able to do.
Well, why need cars at all?
Well,
what are you drawing?
I'm drawing these new living cells that we will exist in.
Think that it's time that America has a fearless, visionary leader who serves Christ, who wants to bring the future forth in engineering and theology.
We are at the cusp of the age of Aquarius. This is the reason why everything is collapsing. This is the reason why everything is coming to an end. It's the end of days for the whole civilization as you know it.
Bringing those social teachings that are needed for this time and place. Because now we're at a time where it's been prophesied we're coming into this global civilization. And I can hear it, the death pangs, death cries of an old, outworn system dying. It's in its death throes. It is. It's not wannabe, it is in its death throes. This is the time you gotta be careful. As I've been around animals. When they're in their death throes, in a state of denial, in a way, struggling, that last thing, they're very dangerous.
The metamorphosis. The caterpillar has to cease to be a caterpillar before it can become a butterfly. And that's the secret art of letting go. We must learn that the way we have been living is not the be-all and end-all. There's another way to live, another way to do things. And the lighter you become, the higher you can fly.
America has reached a terminal state, and it's in our inability to govern and solve problems, and that it's very hard to imagine a way out of this through traditional political means or whatever. It's a highly pessimistic worldview, and the one that they've adopted as a way out of it is that they they want a kind of new monarchism. They want an American Caesar, whether it's Trump or someone like a teal techno overlord, to sort of seize power and through extra constitutional means, just simply do away with the messiness of democracy. And
just one dude.
yeah.
You're like a normal person. You're not that smart even. A lot of people aren't in some kind of magical way where you have a big head that's figuring out everything. No, you just saw problems in the world and you're like, hey, I think I'm going to try to do something about this.
Yep.
And you stay focused and dedicated to it for a prolonged period of time and refuse to quit, refuse to listen to people that tell you that this isn't like impossible, here's how others have failed.
Yep.
No, I'm gonna do it.
That's
Something in the middle of re-centralization, neither total centralization nor total decentralization, but re-centralization, voluntary re-centralization, is I think where we want to aim for, and that's kind of what the book is.
Second way that the tech wealth gets very inefficiently redistributed is through all these sort of crazy zoning laws where, you know, if you're living in San Francisco or Silicon Valley, you're not in the tech industry, but, you know, you're a landlord who bought some apartment and you make sure the zoning laws never get changed, nothing new ever gets built, and, you know, enormous amount gets shifted into this sort of, you know, very quasi-governmental real estate sector.
Modular construction is the future. Once we start fine-tuning prefabrication and the ability to design and fabricate things off-site and bring them on-site just to be assembled, that's gonna make construction so much more efficient.
There you go. What I really think we need is a shared vision, a belief in reality. Like, we need something to live for, to believe in, and that's like space elevators and graphene. Like, we need to excite people about the future that we can all come together and believe in. And
friends, I plead with you, get into the art.
And if you aren't happy with the world you're living in, you can change it. You are never a victim of circumstance. You are a co-creator of your own reality. They don't want you to know that you aren't powerless. You are powerful beyond measure, and you can literally create worlds. This is the reason why they're always trying to distract you. TikTok, this, that.
Where I started thinking that, like, art is sort of a decentralized collective thing. Like art is kind of a conversation with all the artists that have ever lived before you.
Do we have a timeline that we're focused on? And, you know, and what would that timeline look like? And maybe we should start putting some energy into actually creating a positive timeline that we want to have, as opposed to just being non-game players and being sucked into the vortex of this sort of godless, transhumanist, you know, some people even call it Antichrist, you know, timeline.
And that we have enough power in numbers, enough power in messaging, enough power in consciousness more than anything to revolutionize the system from within. And
people don't know what's coming. Oh no. People don't realize what's coming. Prepare yourself for a changing world order.
For an interesting quote here from Walter Bagehot. One of the greatest pains to human nature is the pain of a new idea.
Really? That guy's an idiot. Regardless, I think it's ridiculous how there are people out there who just think that they have this better opinion and better idea when they don't. Like, calm down.
You haven't read a single word of it.
Because it's not going to be good.
Why?
Because it can't be better than what we have now.
Why? You haven't read... How many constitutions have you read in your life?
One.
Okay.
No, I mean, I've read individual state. I've read individual state.
And that's it? That's the best there is?
Yeah. How long have you seen a constitutional republic survive?
That's like saying, I've watched one movie in my life, and I'm never gonna watch another movie because that's the best movie there is, and that's the best movie there ever will be.
I've read like 8 different
constitutions. Isn't it also interesting how most other countries want to be like this country when it comes to our constitution?
I hear your voices. I've been hearing them for 10, 15 years since I've been talking about this. But the consequences, you're going to get arrested, you're going to go to jail, you're going to be whatever, all those things. These are just consequences that have been shown to you often enough so you believe in them. You believe that is the reality that will unfold.
Is it becoming apparent to you that the world is at some peculiar turning point? Are we on the precipice of end times? Is this some kind of apocalyptic unveiling of deeper truths?
For there to be real change, is it not clear that what we need is a type of new confederacy, a new dissolution of power, more ability for people to organise their own communities along the lines of their own values? And doesn't this principle negate the necessity for this ongoing cultural conflict? Isn't true freedom the freedom for each community to decide what their values are?
Power to the imagination. In that, they were correct. The only problem was they had no imagination. And neither do you. God and I have plenty. God and I are simply dripping with imagination.
It'll be like the days of Noah. People will be eating and drinking and going about life, even though there's warnings all around. There's somebody building a giant ark for 120 years. And then he's giving them a time. It's gonna come, it's gonna happen.
Yes, I'm a dreamer. For a dreamer is one who can only find her way by moonlight, and her punishment is that she sees the dawn before the rest of the world.